mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like, they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, August 21st. You may be wondering why I have this awesome salt gun. We're in a war zone right now. There is a wasp nest somewhere up in the ceiling, right? And wasps are coming out gradually. I'm allergic to wasps, so this is my way of protecting myself. We've already knocked down 3 of them, so if you see this thing, if you hear a little, it's the air gun, it's the salt gun that we're shooting. So just to give you a heads up on why we have that, I feel really cool with it.
Big Second Amendment guy.
007 agent guy over
it.
there.
Yeah. He didn't even do it. It was the guy that works in the building that did it. 3 for 3, crack shot.
It was his gun.
The gold PP7.
And so I wanted to give him
One shot.
I want to give him the first shot at it.
He didn't give that thing away.
No, and then he's like, hey, you can hold on to it. So I'm like, I'm going to have it on the show for sure. But it's nice. So if you see it being shot, that's because there's wasps come and try to attack me and kill me. But I'm not going to let that happen. Not on your watch. Not on Lloyd's watch. Even though Lloyd wants it to happen because it'd be good for the show, that's not going to happen. We got a big sports show for you.
Trying to catch
today.
Ronaldo.
You're trying to. 8 million
in a day.
Yeah, we got a ways to go. 8 million YouTube
Tell me how you fix it like
day.
that, huh?
It's when you have 200 million followers.
Bound to get at least 10%
You're bound
of
to get, yeah. It'll be okay.
You know what's crazy? He's probably like, that number's low.
Yeah, he's probably not happy with it.
Yeah.
He's instantly making a ton of money off of it at 8 million subscribers. That is my phone vibrating. Is that what you were wondering what was vibrating? Yep. But we got a big show for you today. Fletcher Mackel, our friend from New Orleans, back from Paris. now covering the Saints in New Orleans, back in his home. He is going to be on the show via video call at 6:45 talking all things Saints. Dennis Allen comes out and talks about how it is still an open competition at right tackle. At this point in time, he feels like Trevor Penning has the edge. I don't know what that means.
He's not setting the edge.
No, listen. If he had the edge, he would have already been announced as a starter. That just says that he has the edge maybe for one more week. And the other guy is going to come in and overtake that position. We're going to ask Fletcher all about that. Is Kendre Miller going to be on the team? He just does he not want to play football? We don't know. He hasn't played. DA's not happy about that. We don't have the answers. Hopefully Fletcher has the answers. LSU football continues their prep for Las Vegas. They are about a week and a half away from, I guess, traveling to Vegas in a little less than 2 weeks. A little less than 2 weeks away from opening day.
11 days.
Sunday. 11 days.
Brady James days away.
Brady James days away. Okay. They start out Sunday, next Sunday. It's nice to say that. Next week, LSU starts their trek to the playoffs. Very excited about it. Very excited. I'll be in the number out there in Las Vegas, bringing you live content from Las Vegas, from the pool parties and all the cool things that surround Sin City. Bo Nix named QB1 for the Denver Broncos. I think we all anticipated that happening after he was drafted in the first round from Sean Payton. Sean Payton's first round quarterback that he has drafted since he's been a head coach in the NFL.
First rookie starter for the Broncos since
John Elway. Right. Hopefully that's a good omen for them. John Elway turned out all right. Won a couple Super Bowls and is a legend over there in Denver.
Better player than drafter. People don't forget.
He hasn't been good at drafting the quarterbacks.
No, Brock Osweiler didn't quite get it done.
Didn't quite. There's a couple more, isn't there?
I think that's apparently a pretty hard position to
it is
to draft and hit on. Apparently,
there's been a lot. Look, the Bears haven't been great with it so far.
They haven't been good. They haven't been good with, not great.
Who else? I guess the Giants, after they lost Eli, haven't really been great at it. It's a tough.
Every team that's bad.
Yeah, I mean they've.
I can name one off the top of my head that's been exceptional at it. And that's pretty much the only one I can name.
Who's that?
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you've only had 3 quarterbacks
in the last
30 years,
30 plus years,
yeah,
and if this career goes right, the last 60 years, pretty much, yeah.
You're doing something right. It's Wednesday, so it's Ask Mikey and Mitch. If you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to them through the course of the show. There's gonna be a lot of football conversation, a lot of just sports conversation, and some shenanigans that are going on. Obviously, it's all gun. If Lloyd says something stupid, doesn't have enough range to get to him though.
You don't think so?
You want to try?
Yeah, not in the eye though. Oh yeah, I felt a little.
You felt it?
Yeah.
It says do not shoot in the eyes.
Yeah.
Do not face or eyes.
We avoided that.
There's Tony's in here too. That burns. It'll burn a little bit in the eyes.
Peppered the scalp.
Yeah, did it get you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dispersion was not very tight. I think it losed some.
It's like the shotgun.
Losing a little steam.
Sawed-off shotgun, maybe. Like it's not real.
You want to be up close and personal.
Yeah, you gotta be real tight with that.
LSU
baseball.
Yeah.
LSU baseball hired the new strength and conditioning coach, former minor league strength and conditioning coach director, I guess, for the Houston Astros. He is now the new strength and conditioning coach for LSU. The old strength and conditioning coach, the guy who was there for a year, is now back at A&M. So that was another role that Jay had to fill, and he has filled it with a guy who's got a lot of experience in the professional ranks. So I would imagine that is going to be a big pickup for them. And last thing about the LSU football, number 18, we're wondering who's going to get number 18. We already know who's getting 7, or who's wearing the patch of 7. 18 is going to be decided in the next 48 hours or so. Who do we think's getting it?
Josh Williams. Easy pick.
I think that's an easy one, right?
See,
if it's not him, who would you pick?
If it's not Josh Williams,
I have somebody I would throw in the ring.
Who?
Garrett Nussmeier.
I don't even.
Nah.
No, I'm just saying if you have to. I think it's going to be Josh Williams, but I think
I only wouldn't throw him in the ring just because of one thing, because he really hasn't played much.
Right.
I would say either Penn or Mason Taylor would be my other two.
Greg Penn.
Mason Taylor.
Thinking Jacoby and Guillory, but
maybe.
someone who's been there for a while.
Not even been there for a while. I feel like you have to pretty much have been on the field to have been a contributor.
Major Burns.
Yep.
Major Burns seems like he's an 18 guy. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot of things happening though. A lot of good news coming out of camp. Chris Hilton's still sidelined with his hammy. Wes Weeks. Ankle. Wes Weeks has the hammy, right?
Wes Weeks was also in a walking boot today. So
who has the hammy?
That's what confused me because he reported again on Chris Hilton saying it was an ankle, but he was the one not in a walking boot. I would imagine that he is the one with the hammy, and he might have been confused because you also had
Sage Ryan was out too. Was he with the hammy?
He was just in the tinny boppers, so I don't know. He had no cleats, but in jersey and pads.
Okay. He was out. J.K. Johnson filled in for him. Had some ups and downs. You know who had a good day though?
Which is your guy?
My guy, Kyle Parker.
He did. He was everywhere.
He had a good day. Filled in for Chris Hilton. Don't say you didn't hear it from me.
Don't shoot the messenger.
You know, I'm just saying. I like the reports that I've gotten from him. I've liked the work ethic, and you know, I hope that kid, because he stuck it out. He didn't transfer. He was a big recruit coming in. He stuck it out. And I like that. I like guys who get rewarded for that, a la Nussmeier, a la the guys who have waited their turn and kind of earned their stripes on the field. College football starts this Saturday, boys. I don't know if you remember that, but there's a game in Dublin. It's the highlight of the weekend. It's not a ranked matchup, but it is Georgia Tech is playing Florida State in Dublin. So you have two power conference teams playing a game overseas. One team is ranked, and it's the first game of the season in the morning. Some crazy stuff could happen. A lot of different things are happening at Florida State. I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they probably should win the game. But game in Dublin, you never know.
Point spread is going down.
It is.
Quickly. It was at 11.5. I think it's now at 10.5 or 9.5. But people are hopping on this Georgia Tech team with Haynes King, maybe the goofiest throwing motion in all of football. But he did score 37 touchdowns last year.
He scored, or was it part of?
It was a part of. He threw for 27 and ran for 10, something like that.
Yeah, at Georgia Tech.
At Georgia Tech. He also,
if you remember, he was at
15 interceptions. So
15.
Yeah, but he was a winner, all-time winner. Everything he did in Texas high school.
Part of them changed. I won't say, the culture you can say, but kind of how you view Georgia Tech. Remember, that's always been for a long time option veer type of offense. Even when you had Calvin Johnson and Demaryius Thomas and all those guys running through it, that's changing over there now. So they're trying to change that a little bit.
Yeah, I think of Reggie Ball.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that. I was like, the most random thing. Every time I think Georgia Tech, I think Reggie Ball running out of bounds on fourth down.
Oh, okay.
Or throwing away. On fourth down.
I remember that.
That's what I remember. Like,
I just think of them two.
Last play of the game, throwing away.
Them two goated receivers just running around, and you're like, nah, dog. I'm gonna run this veer though. I don't care if we got you out there.
You better downfield block.
You got 26 catches on the year. That's all you get.
Obviously, no Larry.
How did they recruit them?
I don't know. I don't know how those dudes fell there.
Reggie Ball, it always sticks in my head.
Sick Oakley visor, third out of
but
bounds.
that specific play,
it's
like a core memory of mine. I don't know why, but it is. I just remember watching it as a kid. Like, it's fourth down, last play of the game. This is your last chance, and he just throws it away.
Oh, guess not.
Like, this is not what
awareness not high.
That's not what I think was. Just throw an interception. Actually, that'd be better.
Give us a chance.
Yeah, give it a shot. But it's gonna be fun now that football is actually back. Hard Knocks, did not watch it yesterday. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about it last night and thought about it today, and I'm like, my wife kind of likes to watch like the preseason Hard Knocks, so I just like I don't really have time to do it today. I'm not gonna kind of like jump in on some of it, so I'll just probably watch it tonight. I haven't seen it yet though.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I did see something today though that they talked about. I think the Bears owners, do not curse. They don't condone cursing. So it was a big thing for them to not have any cursing in this season's Hard Knocks because that's how they go about stuff.
Oh, how'd you know that?
I read it somewhere. So that's I guess that's the thing. Like it's obviously Hard Knocks has been known for being kind of
edgy,
unedited. Like they're just gonna kind of give it to you raw, right? And that's a thing I guess in this one. So if you were wondering that, if you're like, man, this one ain't giving it to me yet, or if that's kind of something, I think that's a little bit of what's going on.
Do you think they're editing it out, or it's just not allowed in the building? Like this is actually a real rule that we follow.
Let's be honest, you got grown men here.
Yeah,
it's happening in the building. I would imagine it's a little bit less free flying if they knew that, and that's been talked about, and people kind of respect each other more. But it's happening in the building. They just made sure that when whatever we're going to produce and put out, it's not going to have it in there.
Lord, are you making any bets on the first weekend of college football?
Yes.
The Florida State Georgia Tech game?
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech. Probably the over.
Are you? What's the over under? 55.5.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'll take the over. I'm not sold on Florida State as high as everybody else is. It doesn't.
Is it because that you're really not sold on them, or is it because you're just bitter because they beat us 2 years ago?
No, I flushed that. I flushed that after the game. 24-hour rule. It's gone.
Oh, really?
But I just don't know about the moves. I'm not sold on DJU. I don't know about some of the moves that they made and all the players that they lost.
They lost a bunch.
They lost a ton. And so it's really on their head coach to see if you're the guy that everybody thinks you are, Norvell.
Is that the only game you're going to bet on? SMU, Nevada, Delaware State of Hawaii?
See, I have a little bit of a rule here. If you can't name
rules?
At least one player on each team, you probably shouldn't be throwing any money down on it.
Agreed.
But that rule gets broken a lot.
I'd imagine that you're probably going to bet on something else. You're going to be watching a game bored on Saturday.
Oh,
ready
live
for football,
betting is...
And you're going to live bet. That counts as betting.
Yeah. But that's when I get to, see the film, see the tempo of the game. There's nothing worse than just missing the window for a live bet. Where you're like, feel like this is going to happen. Then it starts to go that way. And now you're too late, and it's -4.5 instead of +3 when you could have grabbed it. And you're like, I missed it. Then you chase, and now you have a loser that was supposed to be a winner. And that's how you hate teams. That's gambling.
That's gambling.
Or you could go Oklahoma State, and you can just start Venmoing these cats.
I was about to get to that. Rip. Hey, listen. NIL brings a lot of interesting strategies amongst these college football teams. So if you're not sure what Lloyd's talking about, Oklahoma State has announced that they are going to put a QR code on
the
helmets of their players, so that if you're watching it and
you want to
I would imagine that if you're watching it and the running back is it Gordon? Ollie Gordon, right? Ollie Gordon runs for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you're watching the game and maybe you're a little bit inebriated. You had a few too many. And you're very happy that he just did this for you.
Ollie Gordon.
I'm going to
screenshot his helmet.
I'm going to put my camera up there, and I'm going to get the QR code. I'm just going to donate money to him for NIL. You can do that now. That's a creative. How do we think that's going to work out?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be very underwhelming for what the players actually get. It's a virtual tip jar basically, and I just don't. I don't know, man.
Is it going specifically to the player, or is it going to the NIL?
You can specifically shoot it to the player. But you know what's crazy about it is I think you may have not so much the 250-yard game, but let's say there's a overtime thriller or a fourth quarter thriller that happens and you do something crazy. That may be the one spot where that day you get a ton, as opposed to maybe the next week you just run for 200 and y'all beat someone by 30 to be like,
that's expected.
That's expected, all right? But if you do something crazy, it might be like, oh, my life is made.
Yeah,
take it all.
Send him 500 and be like, oh, shit. He don't need that? What did I do?
So I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
I'm excited.
I can't imagine it'll be consistent, but there may be some bumps in there.
And here's the deal. If the team gets hot, right? In 2019, how much money do you think people would have donated to LSU players at that time? You see what I'm saying? If they had a QR code and said, hey, you can go and take a picture of Joe Burrow's helmet and you can give him money, Joe Burrow would have made a bunch of money. Jamar Chase, all those guys would have made a bunch of money because you got a lot of momentum. You got other people around the country watching. I think in those situations, you're going to end up having Odell Beckham already got in trouble that year for giving money. He's banned basically from coming around the program because he was giving money on the field after. But now he can do that. Now he can just take a video and or take a picture and donate money. So like I think that if these teams get to play,
and the way that
they get hot, right? Some momentum, I think that can be beneficial.
And the way that Gundy kind of explained it, he was on McAfee talking about it today, and there was the way that they're going to do it is going to have the QR codes also in like bars and restaurants and every other place, because it's going to be nearly impossible to do if you're at the game, because you're not. I don't know if you would try to like get a QR code if that's the best way to do it. Like through the television makes a lot of sense, and having like placards with the QR codes on them makes a ton of sense too. I am excited for the first player to jump into the stands after a touchdown or what have you and get his QR code scanned in the stadium, like by the student section. Oh yeah,
you have to be quick on the trigger. Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's
once you get the
it's
first
already hard
picture
enough
of somebody
to get it.
taking a picture of the QR code. That's the future.
Yeah. It's already hard enough to get the QR code to like.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like you got to hold it there for a second. Now you got someone, and hopefully capture the QR code, and someone's got to take a picture of your.
You're going to have to ruin somebody else's experience and pause it and get it on there, and now you're 3 seconds behind, and now you got to fast
forward. And maybe you didn't want to give that money because you didn't see what happened next. Like, you just threw a pick.
Look, yeah. I think that there's an opportunity for it to make some money. I'm with you, though. I think that, Oklahoma State, I don't know how much they're going to get from that, but if they make a run and they end up being better than people thought, they're in the playoffs and they have
a guy story.
It's a cool opportunity. It's creative. Staying on the college football conversation, ESPN projects the 12-team college football playoff bracket. LSU is not on that 12-team.
First team out.
Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State. They're high on Florida State. They're very high on Florida State as a 3 seed. Utah, very high on Utah as a number 4 seed. Texas, 5. Oregon, 6. Notre Dame 7, Ole Miss 8. They have Alabama at 9, Miami, Penn State, and Boise State. What do you think about that?
Who's the group of 5 team?
Boise. No.
Boise.
Boise.
The first one I'll bring up is the Florida State one. Now look, bro, I think Norvell's a good coach. I think he's done well there with the program. I would imagine that they have a very strong opportunity to reload instead of rebuild after last year, but your quarterback has been this is his 3rd different school right now. He got his seat taken in the ACC by, I think, a freshman quarterback. He goes out west, then comes back to this conference again. I don't know how there's not more questions about if he can lead a team, because when I look at Clemson, in my mind, the downfall of when Clemson kind of started falling from graces, if you will, was when he was at the helm. So why all of a sudden, just because he's here, is it so thought that, hey, they're still this top-tier team? Why isn't there more questions about, hey, can he actually get it done? Now, look, I get it. This is like his 5th or 6th year in college football. So you would imagine, like at some point you should be able to do this. But I feel like there should be more questions about that team, especially after everything that they lost last year, and then bringing in a guy who's got a lot of questions about him, if you ask me.
Yeah, look, he not only did he not do it at Clemson, he had to transfer out of Clemson to go to Oregon State. Mm-hmm. And, look, it was better at Oregon State, but Oregon State was a very much of a we're going to hand it off, play action type offense.
It wasn't relevant. Let's just put it like that. You can say it was better, but that team wasn't relevant because he showed up there. So.
Right. Like, they won, and they probably did better than they thought they were going to do, but it wasn't – it was a methodical type of offense, right? Complete opposite of what they ran last year at Florida State. Mm-hmm. So, look, not only the quarterback position, you lose Keon Coleman. Don't you lose? Do they lose the other 6'7" receiver, or is he back?
I think he's Johnny something. I think he's back. No. I think he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Johnny Wilson's gone. You lose Jared Verse.
Yeah.
You lose Benson.
You lost a D tackle as well. That was really good. You lost a really good running back. Why on earth are we sitting here saying like, yeah, for sure this team's going to reload and be good?
Admittedly, we're not following them as closely as we're following LSU. So I don't know.
But I don't need to. Like I know they lost all of those guys, and then you're bringing in a guy who's never been at the front, never been front and center on a winning, like a team that's looked at as like a national championship contending team.
Yeah.
Right. So then why all of a sudden do we look at it as like, yeah, he's going to lead them right back into it? I think there should be more questions there.
Look, you talk about Florida State, right? I'm with y'all, right? Obviously, Georgia, you'd imagine they're going to be good. Ohio State, look, I think they're going to be good, but, like, still, is Will Howard that good at quarterback? Like, they got rid of McCord because he wasn't good enough for them, even though they were basically one game away from making it into the playoffs last year. And now you bring in Will Howard, who Like, yeah, I mean, a lot of
Well,
hype, and you're bringing Judkins and all this stuff, but like,
or do they
whatever.
play Oregon this year? Is Oregon on Ohio State schedule this year?
But even take away Ohio State. I'm not sold on Notre Dame.
They play Oregon October 12th.
Okay,
that's
so
the big weekend.
Somebody's getting
That's
married
LSU
that
Ole
weekend.
Miss.
Mhm.
That's the day before my birthday. That's why it's the big weekend.
Friend of mine,
Anyway,
a friend of mine's friend is getting married that weekend.
What a disaster that is.
I texted him. He said, he goes, it hurt. Like it makes me want to throw up that this would be the weekend.
Hey, I actually saw the schedule for that weekend.
It's insane.
Unbelievable.
It's the best week in college football.
So ridiculous you would actually have a wedding that weekend.
Listen to me. The LSU Ole Miss game, you would imagine is going to be a night game. Normally, y'all have seen me on tailgate. I like to walk around and roam and, let my wings fly and do the whole deal. I'm a Papa squat at a specific tailgate and ain't leaving.
There's literally
because normally I don't watch a ton of games because I'm walking.
There's like 6 games that week that are like marquee games.
I'm watching them.
Yeah,
I'm watching.
But
my wife will be happy about that. I think.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. But damn, what were we saying before that?
We were talking about Ohio State,
Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State.
This is their schedule.
Ole Miss, LSU. No, this is that October 12th weekend.
Oh, well,
but they play Oregon.
When you bring up the Ohio State, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. With the roster that they have over there this year, even if you're not that sold on Will Howard, if they're losing to Michigan and Oregon, or Oregon and Penn State, or Penn State and they'll have a new coach because that roster's goofy right now. So I do expect them to be a team that could be a top 12 team at the end of the year because I just don't see them losing to 2 teams, whether or not the quarterback is the one that could put them over the hump, like the legit hump.
Right.
I do expect them to be a top 12 team though.
If Ohio State fires Ryan Day after this year, that would be insane. He's 56-8 with all losses either coming in the playoff or Michigan.
Well,
did you see the roster that they have together?
I do. I
and
know.
if they lose to Michigan again and they have that roster and they maybe miss the playoffs, I think it's about as you can set that today that he's gone. I think that's pretty honest to say that. You know how loud that noise will be?
Yeah.
You know how fast he'll get hired?
And then you think they fire him and they just bring up Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly made it very clear he does not want to be a head football coach.
Yeah,
anymore.
right. He wouldn't have
left.
Because he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, he was the head coach. He's like, I'll go be an OC.
Look, I can tolerate Ohio State in these rankings.
Well, you have to. That's what I think.
It's
preseason fodder. But that's why Florida State's in this conversation. That's why Notre Dame's in this conversation. Because you have to pick somebody out the ACC.
And Utah's in it because Cam Rising's coming back, and they're playing in a conference that is very winnable.
Right, and that's what I think. They're trying to find somebody out the ACC, and they're like, well, Florida State went undefeated last year, so you might as well pick them. But I don't think they have 18 freshmen listed on the 2 deep.
Who, Florida State?
Yeah.
And the simple fact that you have them as like a top 4 squad.
Yeah,
too.
like they're in.
Not like, hey, they're in of the week. They may lose 1 or 2. I'm like, God, I don't know. I can't wait to see it though. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, they have to win in the conference. That's how
Miami, huh? Everybody wants Miami to be back. Like they always want Miami to be back. Miami's.
Yeah, man. There's always a lot of love around Miami. It does make the sport a lot more fun when Miami is good. It's just tell it. Spade a spade.
Yeah, that's the same conversation you could have about Texas, where it feels like every year you're like, well, watch out for Texas. This is their time. They're going to be back.
Well, Texas,
then they finally
proved last year that they were back.
15 years.
Yeah, right, finally. Since Vince Young, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's like
2006.
Yeah, like the first time they were kind of relevant since then. I mean, I think they probably had some other decent seasons, but, like, that was really the first time they were like, okay, this team can go out and beat anybody, you know.
I tell you right now, if this thing fell...
They did lose 2 running backs, though.
Yeah, crazy.
If this thing fell exactly how this happens, which is obviously a very low chance of that happening, it would be such a travesty to see in the first round Ole Miss playing at Alabama.
Yep.
That's a matchup that can't happen in the first round of the playoffs.
And that's the next question. Do you think that they're going to... I don't want to say dictate.
Yes, they will try to dictate.
They are going to try to not make that happen. First round... Basically another regular season matchup of Ole Miss, Alabama, a team that they played. That doesn't have to be SEC. It could be 2 ACC teams or whatever. If they played in the regular season,
trying to avoid that.
Yes,
and
right?
I think that's what they want. They would rather get in like a Big 10, Big 12 versus SEC, like where you get the full drama of Penn State coming to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I think this would be
would be electric.
Not so Happy Valley.
That would be electric if Penn State came to Baton Rouge.
James Franklin would
You wouldn't love it.
not have a great time.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. Let's just be honest. But I do think if there's any years that when they put this thing together and there's 12 teams that gets in, if there's any way to kind of manipulate, if you will, if that's what you want to call it, to where it's not same conference against same conference on those playoff games, I think this year would be that year. Now going forward, I don't know, because the proof in the pudding has been, and I'm not sure it'll stay that way, but the proof in the pudding has been is that the SEC has always found a way to rise to the top of this thing. So if it continues to go that way, you may start seeing more matchups like that in the first round. I just don't think that this year would be the year that they'll make something like that happen if they can avoid it, if you will.
Yeah, they want to roll this thing out and prove
and maximize it. No, literally legit maximize it. I do still think there's going to be some first round blowouts though. I definitely think that. Yeah, I think you're going to start in playoffs, and there will be some first-round absolute blowouts.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
I agree. I mean, you're going to –
well, the first four aren't – they'll get buys.
Right, but, like, the 5th team's playing the 12th team,
but
which is probably going to be
the 5th team could be the second-place team in the team that loses in the SEC championship.
Like, or Notre Dame, because the 5th-place team, if they're really good, whoever it is, and they go and play a group of 5 team as a 12 seed, that has a chance to be an absolute blowout, unless it's like Cincinnati from a few years back.
Yeah.
And they're really good, but
Liberty.
It's here, boys. It's so exciting.
But with that article that you brought up, LSU was the last team out, or the first team out, excuse me. So they would be one of the teams that if you go 10-2, but you didn't win your conference, and then you have the group of 5 team get in, you have Notre Dame get in, that's when you start looking around going, how many SEC teams are they going to take? And in this model that ESPN did, LSU, perfect fan base to pick to fall just outside the college football playoff. Really well done. But that is where you get into the conversation of if you're 10-2 but you didn't win the SEC and they don't put you in, it's like, well, that's the perfect reason why they want to go to 16.
It's always going to be that way, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they're going to set it up for that because they want it to be at 16.
I think 12 is a good number.
That's too bad for you. They wanted it at 16.
Who's they? The
college
committee?
Football, yeah. College football, yes. Once you get a taste of these playoff games, they're going to be like, this is the formula. Let's do what the NFL does. And now you can market and make so much more money
you're
out
right.
of these.
You're right, which I'd be okay with it. More bowl games would get opportunities to host. That would be able to keep the bowl games, right? Like, you'd have the first round at home, and now you'd have extra bowl games hosting the second round. So
it would give you 2 more games.
That's the other thing. You can't have these guys playing a shit ton of games. I mean, they're
they already are.
Yeah.
They found a way to put. Now we have 2 bye weeks. This thing only used to go to the divisional round of the NFL. Now it's going to the conference championship round. Like you're gonna have the national championship and Super Bowl on the same weekend.
National championship's gonna be playing in the Pro Bowl weekend, and then you got Super Bowl the next weekend.
They're smart.
That'd be great. Football.
That's where it's headed. But
they're gonna make at some point the national championship game is gonna be after the Super Bowl.
I will tell you this: it's so weird. It's been 10 years of that playoff system.
I know, it's wild.
That's crazy. Like, damn, they actually been doing that for 10 years.
Arguably, the best year ever of the playoffs was the first year. Of the playoffs, right? When you had it was like Ohio State,
Cardell Jones, baby.
Yeah, Cardell Jones.
Yep.
That was. I mean, those games were electric.
Yep.
That was arguably the best one. It was the first one. But LSU just falls just out of that projections of making the playoff in college in ESPN's predictor. I think we've talked about this ad nauseum that I think that LSU, if they go 10-2 in the regular season, they are in, and as a at large, if you would so to say. Here's my other question. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind, because there's no divisions anymore. There's no divisions anymore. Yeah. So I would say, what if a team that has like LSU last year or 2 years ago when they snuck into the SEC championship game and go and beat Georgia? They're obviously getting that large bid. Every conference champion is in.
Yeah.
But that can't happen because it's not. It's the best records in the conference.
I do like, and look, things have kind of changed. The dynamics have changed a little bit. Nick Saban is now gone. It's not a thing. But for that program to be what it has been over the past 10 to 15 years at Alabama, the fact that Nick Saban is out and that the the playoff system has changed to what it's changed to now, I do like it because being an LSU fan, being an LSU alum, what it has been for LSU over the past 15 years is the whole date. And if you don't get it done, your season is pretty much over. And if you get it done and at that day in the first week in November, then there's hope for the rest of the season. Now, look, I love the thought of being able to live and die on every game, which I still feel you really do get that feeling, because you still really do need to get to that 10-win mark to kind of feel safe, if you will, to get into the playoffs, which is 10 wins in a regular season. It's nothing to sneeze at, right? I like that there's a chance that you get to November, no matter what the record is, and you still have a chance to, hey, if we lose here, we can still go. Because let's say you get to November this year and you beat Alabama, but you slip up against Oklahoma. In the years past, you're cooked. You're going to the Sugar Bowl. It's over. You know, like you don't have a national championship chance. I like that that's changed now. You get 10, you get a chance to dance, and you're in. So I do think the way this system is kind of played out right now, and how I won't say played out, but the way it's set up, I like it the way it's set up more. Because of what the gauntlet of the SEC is.
Until you look at the SEC football official tiebreaker rules, which came out today, and it is a shit show if you get far enough down this list, which it feels like they did, because last year at the Mountain West they came up with a computer formula to decide their champion. And now for the SEC, obviously, if in the event of a tie between two teams competing for a place in the conference championship game, the following procedures will be used, hang with me here, will be used in descending order until the tie is broken. Head-to-head competition amongst the tied teams, record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams, record against highest or best placed common conference opponent
make my head hurt.
in the conference standings, and proceeding through the conference standings among the tied teams, cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents, capped relative total scoring margin versus all conference opponents. The last and final one, random draw of the tied teams. They're just going to pick one. If all of them is A through E and they can't find a disparity.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, ain't no such thing as curses.
Friday Night Lights, they're going to go do the coin flip in a diner.
Old coin.
Old coin. No such thing as coincidences.
That old fuck tried to cheat.
Did.
It's an old coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know what you were doing, Peepaw.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to Billy Bob Thornton.
Listening to those rules, or listening to the tiebreaker, reminds me of, like, the ACT or like an economics test, where like you know that like it's not hard to understand, but like it's so many words and like it's repetitive. It's like, okay, I literally got to read every line.
Let's get the highlighter out.
Yep. That's a lot.
It's a lot. But I do want to get to the F scenario where they're like, oh shit.
What is it? Oh, coin flip.
Random draw of the tied teams. Not even a coin flip. I imagine that's what they would.
In a hat.
In a hat. Yeah, it's going to be a little charade game.
Wow. Close your eyes and pick.
I'm sure the SEC will handle that just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Fan bases will be totally good with it.
No doubt. All right. Let's talk a little LSU football for about 5 minutes before Fletcher. Did you send him the email?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a Miami fan in the chat.
Oh.
And he has some Florida State nuggets.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Florida State's.
We got a wide range of fans.
Yeah, Florida State's wide receiver one is Malik Benson, who has 100 career yards as a senior. They're pretenders and scrubs. So obviously,
obviously a Miami fan. Yeah. Love that.
Didn't say anything good about Miami. Came here to shit all over Florida State.
I love that. I love that. And we don't even play Florida State this year for
respect.
Listen, 100 yards. The number one receiver is 100 yards as a senior. That's not great.
Not great.
That's not how you want to. So they didn't bring any wide receivers in the portal.
It looks not.
I guess not, huh?
I like it.
I want to go talk about LSU for a touch, but
this is your day. Talk about your boy.
I am going to, so I'm getting to. There are a couple guys that are a little banged up. Brian Kelly says it's kind of just the bumps and bruises of camp.
Back into camp, baby. You got to take care of the boys.
Chris Hilton's been out. He says he has a
it's hot, boss.
Bone bruise. You don't want to play. Hot.
It's hot, boss.
He doesn't want. Not that he doesn't want to play. It's just hot outside.
It's hot right now. You got to take care of the boys.
Take a little break.
Yeah.
Take a little break.
Energy was a little low today. Seems like the boys are ready to be done with this.
Yeah. Kyle Parker,
tired
though.
of leaning on the same dude you smell, dog. I'm tired
Kyle
of
Parker,
you.
energy high.
Super high.
Big day. Listen, we've talked about Chris Hilton, C.J. Daniels, Kyron Lacey. Those three guys being the top three guys right now going into camp. Well, you have Chris Hilton out, right? Been out with injury. So now you have an opportunity for someone else to step in that number 3 spot. Obviously, Aaron Anderson's gotten some run. Savion, what?
He looked phenomenal today.
He looked great.
Yeah.
Right? Kyle Parker got some run. He looked really good today. I've been very high on him. Not because I've seen him a ton, but because of all the stuff that I've been told about him and his work ethic, and the little that I've seen kind of falls in line with his work ethic and the fact that he stuck it out. Like, I'm rooting for him, right? Like, I think he's obviously good enough to be here. He's obviously good enough to get some opportunity. I'm just rooting for the guy to go out there and make some noise because he stuck it out. And that's what to have a successful team, you need guys to be able to do that, to be able to stick it out, develop, wait their turn, and then be the guy. Brian Thomas did it last year, right? Kyle Parker could potentially be that guy this year, get some run. Next year, be the guy. You got to always have that guy in line.
This year?
Whoa. I already got my 1,000-yard prediction. Kyron Lacey.
Kyle Parker is
you're terrible.
Kyle Parker is only a redshirt freshman, though. So
I know.
It's not like he's been here for
That's my
3
point.
years.
That's my point. Yeah. That's my point. But, like, the other freshman that came in that same year as him, Brown, he left. He transferred out, right? He was supposed to be a big-time recruit. And, like, my whole thing is just these guys stick it out. If they don't play 1 year, it's not the end of the world. He's a redshirt freshman. He has the opportunity to go out there and play for a long time at LSU. But he had a good day. J.K. Johnson filled in at first-team cornerback with Sage Ryan a little banged up. Had some ups and downs. You said Aaron Anderson looked really good.
Yeah, they're starting to obviously prepare for USC. You saw them bust out all the numerical jerseys to where you saw 8 number 4s out there, 7 number 6s. So, like, you had the scout team wearing whatever USC is wearing. You had Colin Hurley being Miller Moss today, who sneaky is starting to get some run at this. He thought came in, and Brian Kelly said maybe he just assumed he was going to be the 3rd string, and it looks like he's changed his mind about that. He came in, and he is the best probably of the group aside from Nussmeier. He's got the most talent of throwing the football. Like, he looks the part.
So you're thinking he can maybe be the backup?
I think he thinks he could be a backup, but he does have the best arm.
If he's doing that well, his biggest role, if he takes to it, if he's able to go out there and give them really good looks defensively and what they do scout team wise, it will literally grow where this defense is and where the secondary is and how they play, and week in and week out. It'll make them better if he's able to go out there and actually challenge them week in and week out in practice.
I'm glad you said that, because I think people think, oh, he's on scout team, he's not any good, and like, oh, I'm on scout team, it's whatever. Like, I'm like the 3rd, 4th string guy, I'm never gonna play. Scout team is a lot more important than you think, right? And if you have a scout team quarterback or a scout team running back or a scout team receiver, whoever that is doing really well and dominating in the starters or giving the starters a really good look, all that does is, 1, make them better prepared for the game, and 2, makes you look good to the coaching staff and the other players and saying, okay, this kid, he's not even running our offense, and he's making these guys look good, right? So, like, that's an important thing to say.
It's a big thing, man. Like, if you're week in and week out, you're preparing for someone. He's able to basically play different roles, throw different routes, and or run different, whatever it is, run different plays. And if you're up there consistently dicing up the other defense enough where the defense, the first team defense of your own team notices, like, hey, he's something serious. He killing us every day over here. That bodes well for you. I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to overtake Nuss this year. I'm not sitting here saying that he's even going to be the number 2 on the depth chart this year. But that bodes well for what people look at you going forward saying, hey, we got something here, because we didn't think he's over here. He's not with our starters. He's not running the first team offense, or he's not a part of the first team offense. But what he's doing over here lets us know that he can play at this level, because he's doing what he's doing off of these cards with guys he doesn't have a ton of chemistry with, and he's doing it against our first team defense.
No doubt.
Right? So that lets us know that if he can do this, he's got a shot at playing. So I do think something like that is something to look at going through the season, because I think he can get a ton of value for himself by going out there and cutting them up every day and doing what he can do. And I think it'll help this year's defense out a ton if he's able to put stress on them and make them kind of grow as a unit.
Yeah, he would be foolish not to see this as an absolute opportunity to get way more reps than anybody else. And that's what you saw him, like, leading that scout team offense, but he was the first one up there because he didn't want to get his reps taken away. He's like, I'm playing the quarterback role for this thing. And he was trying to play his best, I guess, Miller Moss, but he wasn't pulling any punches. Like, he's taking that opportunity to try to make waves against the defense. Like, Ain't no brother-in-law.
No.
But make no mistake about it. At a school like this, where there's really only one that could be on the field, this is not the place. This is not the league. It doesn't really – way more times than not, if you have to play and or start a freshman and or redshirt freshman, that means your program's probably not in a great spot when you come to a school like this. There's very few guys that are thrusted into that position as freshmen that go out there and succeed at that spot. And usually if that is the case, your program's not in a good spot because we should be able to retain and grow quarterbacks and grow them and have them out there when they're ready to run an offense, because this is a different level from anything that they've ever done in their life before.
You know what I thought was interesting? Like, obviously, I'm kind of staying on the LSU topic, but moving to a different thing. Brian Kelly came out and you talk about scout team and you talk about guys trying to show good looks. Brian Kelly then talks about the defense is the biggest question mark, right? Brian Kelly says there's going to be 5 or 6 defensive tackles to play, 4 or 5 linebackers, and up to 5 edge rushers that he expects to have playing time today. This year. Which to me is a huge thing, right? I don't feel like we had those guys last year. Everybody talks about bodies and depth. Yeah, they may be young, but you got talented guys that he feels confident enough, at least right now, to say that they're going to play.
Yeah, then
I think it's huge for day one. Like, it's one thing to show up for the season and have a ones group have a starting lineup, and then you have to play players and you throw them in and they play better than you thought, and you're like, oh, okay, this guy can play here as well. I think that's one way to go about it. But for a coach to feel like he's got that many guys that he feels like he can go out there and play with right now at this point, I think that's huge. Now, I do think there's a little bit of that's going to be, I guess, kind of suppressed a little bit once you get out there and you're allowing guys to kind of go out there and you're seeing guys that can perform. You're seeing guys that can stay in shape. You're seeing guys that can stay fresh and do it. You're going to allow them to do that a little bit, kind of like we've had these conversations on the baseball side. But, yeah, man, we've always talked about up front, you want a second line. Like, you want to be 8 deep. 8 deep would be great because you're able to stay healthy at that point. You're able to stay fresh at that point. You want guys that can come in and play linebacker as well. Like, you want those things. But it will kind of, suppress a little bit. But to feel like you have that many guys that can go out there and play right now at this point, it's huge.
Well, so if he says 5 or 6 DTs and 5 edge, that's 10, 11 guys on the line that he expects to play, plus 4 or 5 linebackers, right? Now, obviously, some of those edge guys are probably hybrid linebacker, more edge, but like hybrid guys who are athletic enough to kind of move around.
Well, you got to think too. He's talking about Harold Perkins, who will bump down to the spot, and obviously if that happens, then somebody like Whit Weeks is going to have to come in. Like, he's talking about those situations, obviously, but yeah, it matters.
Yeah,
it matters.
To me, when I reading through that and seeing that is a good vote of confidence of what he expects the defense to be.
Well, and he continues to push the narrative of the defense or the team in general as more of a sum of its parts than one in particular player.
It should be.
Which is what you're getting from that. If there's an example of it, it's the defensive line. Like, I have no issue with him saying there's 5 or 6 edge guys because I believe there is. And you'll have rotational pieces in the middle, but even with him saying 5 or 6 guys in the middle, that is, you still don't want Gio Paez or Jacobian Guillory out or injured.
No, of course not.
No, but that's what, like, those are going to get the majority of your reps.
Of course not.
It also tells me too, like, so you're telling me, and it's what we thought we would see from this defense anyway, but you're also telling me that it's not like downs 1 through 4, I got this guy that I know needs to stay on the field because I know he's going to win a matchup, a one-on-one matchup, every single down that he's out there. Guess what? That's okay, because if I have ample guys who can do it, especially when they are fresh, that gives you an opportunity to keep putting bodies on the field who's ready to go, right? I don't have guys where I'm like, all right, I know I can put them out there, go get you one. Maybe I don't want you, I don't need you out there to get exposed for 10 straight downs, but I can get you out there, go get you 2 downs in a row, come on back. I do think understanding and noticing, like, this is the personnel that I'm working with, and being able to do that, I do think it's an advantage at this point.
Yeah, agreed. Is Fletch in there yet?
No.
Okay. that was a nice little delay there. We're gonna get back into the conversation because I would imagine. Are there any questions in the chat about LSU football just yet? Because if there's not, go ahead, throw some in there. Fletcher's going to be coming up on the show here in the next few minutes. So let's kind of tailor our conversation to the Saints and kind of what we want to get out of this conversation with him. Obviously, the biggest question mark with the New Orleans Saints is LSU's biggest strength, which is the offensive line. Right? Offensive line for the Saints, don't really understand what's going to happen there. We don't especially the right tackle position. They look good offensively with the running scheme-wise. Obviously, it's preseason. Derek Carr looked efficient. You're not really going to know anything about this until they get to the regular season. What's something that you want to know? Like, what would be something that you want to hear from Fletcher? What's something that's like kind of a pressing thought?
For me, it's how many steps forward do we expect this offense to take? How much better do we expect Chris Olave to be in year 3? How much better do we expect Derek Carr to be in year 1 of this offense, but year 2 as a Saint? Those are the things that I think is going to reign huge when it comes down to the Saints' success and or not success this year. I think I expect the defense to still be a scrappy, very competitive top 10 type of defense in the NFL, but it does not matter if you can't go out there and score some points in today's NFL. So if that part, which the Saints really did not have last year, they didn't do a good job of scoring points. They were not very good at that. I think if they're able to get back to those ways, which over the past 10 years, I don't know if anybody knows, the Saints have been a top 10 scoring type of offense. Like, they've been good, right? I think if they can get back to that, this team becomes a lot better than what they have been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I have 2 questions, right? Obviously, there's questions within the offense, right? Mine is, how does the new offensive coordinator, how is everybody kind of buying into that? What does the scheme look like? It looked good last week, but that's, like I said, it's preseason. How is it? Has it been consistent in practice? Understanding it? Have you seen an obvious difference in creativity with the run game and creativity with the play calling? 1. 2, are we going to be able to get to the quarterback this year, right? The Saints have always been able, or that's been something that Dennis Allen likes to do, is being able to get to the quarterback. You lose, a couple of defensive ends. You have Peyton Turner, who you drafted, who really hasn't done much because he's been injured. You bring in Chase Young. Are those guys going to be able to do those things? Cam Jordan lost a bunch of weight to try to be a little bit more athletic so that he can stay on the field whenever they go into this, like the athletic package where these guys are they're taking out some of these big guys and putting in a little bit more athletic guys. So is the defensive line going to be able to get to the quarterback? Is Willie Gay the new guy in the middle with DeMario, right? DeMario is obviously really good, but he's getting older. Willie Gay is a 2-time Super Bowl champ, so he understands how to win. Like, how is that?
I think Cam was alluding to kind of some of that with the weight loss. I think he wants to be able to get to these third down situations, and he's going to bump down to a tackle spot. You're going to insert a Willie Gay on the edge and let him kind of go get it, and obviously DeMario stay in the middle of the field at that point. Yeah, I fully expect this defense to be much better. You have Carl Granderson. You have a better sized. Why am I forgetting his name right now? I just talked about him.
Brazee?
No. Well, Brazee.
Yeah, Brazee
year
too.
2 Brazee, I think,
Cam
should
Jordan.
be. But you have Cam Jordan. You have Willie Gay. I think they'll be better at that. I really do.
And what guys are going to be the early contributors, right? You have a kicking competition. You got rid of your kicker who you've had for a long time for Groupie, and Groupie was kind of underwhelming. And now you have another kicker, competition in that area. You have a running back behind. You have Alvin Kamara, who hasn't really played yet in the preseason, but you also have another running back who you thought was going to be really good, who just for some reason just doesn't want to play football. So Kendre Miller hasn't really gotten in. Who's going to step up as the other receivers?
Right. You
have Olave, but who's going to be the other guys? There's a lot of question marks. I'm the most excited to watch Taysom though, and see what he looks like in this offense. Because I don't think he's ever been used to his full capabilities.
If he's not just basically a cameo as like that fullback spot or like that extra, and if they actually use him like to full potential in that spot, I think it could be really good for him, and I think he'll shine in that role because I do think he's more athletic than Kyle Juszczyk. Like, I think he's a better player at that. Now, if he can take that kind of thumping and do that kind of blocking and or wants to do it at the rate that Juszczyk does, I don't know that.
Right.
We'll find that out. But, if he can do that, I think this offense goes to a different level.
I'm with you. I'm trying to see if Fletcher's having any issues getting on.
I just resent him the link.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. You're working.
Yeah, I was over here typing.
Working. Doing
Producing.
a lot. Producing.
Hate
Doing your
that.
job.
Hate that part.
Look at that.
Hate that part.
Look at that. Would you imagine? Would you look at that? Would you look at that?
That's where I cut my teeth.
Yeah, that's your thing. Now he says it hosts ended meeting.
No, he just got a new one. I'm open. Open Zoom manager. We're here. Fletcher Mackel joined.
He's in.
Yeah.
He's in. He's alive. We're
in.
alive.
It's in.
Is he in?
I don't see his camera.
Okay.
Fletcher.
It says he joined. We're working on it. We're getting there. I tried to filibuster with the Saints conversation. I thought we were gonna seamlessly get. It's not your fault. Nobody's fault. You know, it's part of the.
He has everything on. He should
part
be
of the show.
good.
Part of the show.
Good.
How else do we want to filibuster this? We got sirens in the background. Something's happening. Haven't seen a wasp. We got music. You want a shot of this?
Ow.
It's been.
Oh, did I get
Ow.
you?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
okay.
been. Why on earth would you do that?
Ow.
I thought I went high enough to where I wasn't gonna get to
Yeah,
him.
shrapnel got me.
How'd it taste?
Yeah, it feels. I smell like a football
A
game.
little salty.
Oh yeah, little Tony's over here.
A little salty.
Put it under my armpits.
I want to find it. I want to get one of these things. I want to kill one.
It's been real quiet out of Carolina's camp this year. Like, there has not been any noise over there. There hasn't even been talk about them when they've played preseason games.
The biggest noise we got was the coach singing the rookie,
Or Bryce walking in the seventh
looking
grade
like
outfit.
a 7th grader. Jesus Christ.
Got Fletch.
That's the biggest noise we got.
Is Terrace Marshall ever going to do anything over there?
I don't know.
He was served a raw deal.
I mean, you still can get open.
I feel like the whole thing's broken from the top down. Like, I don't think it's a. If he was in a different situation,
I think it's Tepper.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would like to play for Tepper. Oh,
great. Apologize.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
He's in.
He's
All right, let's get to him. Let's not make the man wait.
he's trying to get comfortable.
Okay, let me
Trying to
get
get
comfortable.
camera ready.
Look,
yeah.
He's not in Paris anymore. He's not in Paris. He's not in the most romantic city in the world. What an experience for our man. You want to get to him? Are we ready
He's
for
there.
him?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Joining us now is our friend of the show, fluent in French. I would imagine. Oui.
He spent that time there.
Fletcher Mackel. He should be fluent in French. He lives in New Orleans. Fit in just perfectly out there in Paris. Fletcher, welcome back to the homeland. Welcome back to our show, Talking Saints. You look great as always. Walking us around the studio. I love that.
Wow.
I'm trying to find a good location here and not bother people that I work with. I was going to go outside, but then they had sirens and all kinds of stuff. I apologize for always doing this on my phone. So I'm sorry, but
no, you're
I
good.
At least found the studio. I at least found the studio lights here to help myself out. Selfishly, maybe I'll look a little better under the studio lighting.
No, you look great. Look, before we get to the Saints,
Just take this thing all the way to the broadcast desk.
That's it. Before we get to the Saints, excuse my salt gun. We have some wasps flying around here, so I have this for my protection. So just excuse that.
He's well within his rights to carry.
Yes, you know. But look, before we get to the Saints, obviously you were in Paris for 3 weeks. That had to have been an awesome experience. We talked to you a little bit while you were there. You are now back. You've had some time to reflect on it. How cool was that experience for you? And what was one of the moments that you can remember the most?
Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime deal, to be honest with you, Mikey. I mean, I don't know if I have a vocabulary expansive enough to talk about how awesome it was. It was a lot of work. I wasn't on vacation, but still I was there covering the Olympics in one of the greatest cities in the world that felt like a fairy tale walking around every day. The last time we talked, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, right when I got there. And I wanted to be outside, but the Wi-Fi was just not good enough. So I had to go back to my hotel room, and you got like my closet in my hotel room. But every day was amazing. The food was amazing. Paris did a great job with all their venues. The Eiffel Tower Stadium, the Grand Palais had fencing. I got to cover the men's basketball the game against Serbia, and then the gold medal game. I think if I had a real moment, it was interviewing Katie Ledecky. I think sometimes, we can take for granted that I get to interview NBA players and go to NBA games and go to NFL games and go to the best college football games, like when LSU's in the playoffs. But I'd never covered Olympics, and I look at some of these people and have seen them for years. So I was there when Ledecky swam the 1500 and lapped everybody, and then got to interview her after that. So that was one of the cool moments. And then being at Eiffel Tower Stadium, it was breathtaking on TV. In person, it was amazing what they did, putting a 13,000 seat outdoor arena at the foot of the Eiffel Tower and watching the LSU players, Kristen Dunst and Taryn Cloth, play. I think, bad draw for them. That Canadian team ended up winning silver, but I think they'll be back in 28, and they were great in the highs and the lows. So, again, all of it, from top to bottom, 23 days in Paris, life, work. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I will be grateful for my bosses for sending me to forever.
Very much deserved, man. I was fired up to watch you do it. We enjoyed watching the Olympics. It's always nice to watch people that participate in the Olympics, but also watch people that be able to cover the Olympics. So it was really cool for you. Much deserved. Now you're back in your homeland talking about the New Orleans Saints. Now there's a lot to be, there's a lot left to be desired from last year's team. They ended up 9-8. The offense was clunky for a majority of the season. They finished the season off strong. Had a lot of guys. Had some drama with Michael Thomas. You had a lot of things happening. New offensive coordinator. New roles. Taysom Hill is in a completely different role. It feels like he's going to be utilized in a way that he hasn't been utilized yet. What has been the early thoughts on the new coordinator, on Clint Kubiak, and how he's brought, kind of a San Francisco-style offense to New Orleans?
So one, getting back and getting hit with the suffocating heat of South Louisiana, made me realize that I was no longer in Paris covering Olympians, and I was back, here covering football. And I'll say this, since I've been back, I feel like the Saints are super middle class. That I feel like the low water mark for them is probably 7-10. They're too good to be bad. They just are. But I don't know if they're good enough to be elite. Yeah. So I think, like a lot of the NFL teams, which is what the NFL wants, a hyper-competitive league, unlike Major League Baseball and the NBA at times, they are middle of the pack, and they're probably going to end up 9-8, 8-9. They could slip to 7-10. They could grind out a couple of games and get to 10-7. Look, last year they went 9-8. And I think back to Green Bay when they blew a 17-point lead, and Groupie still had a chance to win it on a field goal, and they lost that game. And then Jacksonville on Thursday night, when Foster Moreau had an opportunity to make a catch that would have helped them win that game. Those two wins right there make them 11-6 and put them in the playoffs. So again, I just think they're not one of the upper crust teams of the NFC. They're not the Niners. They're not Philadelphia. They're not the Lions. They're not Dallas. They're not the Rams, who I think are going to be pretty good this year. I think I can make an argument for them at 6 or 7 in the NFC, but I could also be convinced that they're 8, 9, 10 in the NFC. So again, sure, could Clint Kubiak reinvent this offense, more play action, look a lot more like what San Francisco looks like with Brock Purdy? Sure, but I come from a place where I saw a lot of Sean Payton's assistants hired off of his staff, and they thought, we're bringing that Peyton Breeze offense to Chicago and to Detroit and to these different places.
To the Saints.
And they didn't have Peyton and they didn't have Breeze. Yeah. I don't know if Clint Kubiak is Kyle Shanahan. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic and hope that they're going to be okay, but my heart of hearts tells me that they're probably going to be a middle-class team.
Now, I'm glad you brought up Clint Kubiak, because in my opinion, this could be a very interesting year in terms of what happens at the end of it, but I don't want to, call for anyone's job. That's not what I don't really love doing that, but I'll pose the question in a sense of just, I guess, basically setting the stage for what it's like being inside the doors and seeing how they operate every day. Does 9-8 blow this thing up this year if that's what they end up at the end of the year?
I think so, and it's a great question, Jared. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why. And the Saints are talking about how they operate behind closed doors. They are methodical. They are slow and steady. They do not do knee jerk. They just don't. They're a lot like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've kind of emulated that franchise. They look at New England under Belichick with Kraft as the owner and Brady. They feel like you can't expect Super Bowl right away. We got used to that in 2006 because Peyton and Breeze came in. They drafted Reggie Bush. They go from, it's like a Disney movie. They go from 3-13 to revamping everything after Katrina and end up in the NFC Championship game. But after that, 7-8 were some grinding it out years, so to say. And then in 2009, they win the Super Bowl. That kind of led to a great run of success. I could see there's something tangible about, okay, Dennis Allen's first year, they went 7-10. Last year, they go 9-8. If this year they get to 10-6, or I'm sorry, 10-7 or 11-6 and win the division, they've got at least a body of work to say it doesn't happen overnight. Slow and steady wins the race. We had to build this after Peyton and Breeze left, and we have now come through the forest, and we now see the clearing and are ready to go. I could understand that and swallow that and buy into that. But what I won't be able to buy into, and it would be hard, to sell the fans on, is 7-10 to 9-8 and 8-9 and 9-8 again. No improvement. I don't know if you can say, boy, we just need another year in Clint Kubiak's system. Boy, Derek just needs another year. Mm-hmm. I do think there would be some serious conversations that would had to be, brought about if they are no better than what they were last year. Now, I'm not saying they've got to be, 14-3 this year, but I think there has to be improvement. Mickey Loomis last year came in with his notes talking about Bill Belichick and Tom Landry and Chuck Noll and all these coaches that needed 1, 2, 3 years to turn their franchise into something special. And he was talking about Dennis Allen and that kind of same, like umbrella of coaches, which you're talking about some of the greatest ever. I don't know if Dennis is going to get there, but in year 3, I think you need to see a playoff appearance and another step forward. And if you don't, you have to question, is this the right coach? Is this the right quarterback? Are we going the right way with the right people? Because they've already got a lot of fans teetering on the brink that are ready to go to the exit sign, not dive in with this team wholeheartedly.
Yeah, if Dennis Allen just reels off 21 straight wins, he'll be back to 500 as a head coach. So right there with Chuck Noll and Jeff Landry.
Was that your question?
No, but
okay.
I just said that was one of the most unbelievable things that Mickey Loomis did. Like, you're just gonna ignore what he did in Las Vegas,
and the smacking of the gum.
Yeah, that was.
And the smacking of
whatever.
The gum.
But that was I think one of the things that if we look back and this goes sideways,
Oh, that's on the DVD.
Well, right. And here's the thing: I did think there was a hard part for me to reconcile was Mickey, and I thought that was as open as he's been, was talking about we've got to get, we've got to make things a little bit more uncomfortable is what he said. He goes, things have become too comfortable and we've got to make it uncomfortable. Yet he was wearing like a go out shirt and smacking gum the whole time. I did.
He didn't mean for him. He didn't mean for him.
I'm good.
Right. I felt like, speaking of comfort,
But I do actually have a question. You mentioned winning the division. That's obviously something the Saints have kind of hung their hat on with a weak NFC South. But now when you look across the league and look across the NFC South, it looks like Atlanta has kind of looked around the room also and said, we're going to get better and we're going to win the division, when that used to be what the Saints were doing every year to try to get 1 or 2 pieces to get better. Do you not look around and go, no, maybe the Falcons see that the Saints aren't what they used to be, and this is our opportunity to win the league?
Yeah, and look, I'll say this. I feel like the one thing the Saints have gotten absolutely positively right the last couple of years is, because there was talk of, hey, Breeze is gone into retirement, Peyton's gone. Do we need to reset? That's what the Tampa Bay Bucks did last year after Brady and after Bruce Arians, it was, okay, we're going to reset our cap. I mean, they signed Baker Mayfield to a cheapo deal. They wanted to compete, but I don't know if they thought they were going to win at the highest level, and they still won the division. The one thing the Saints have gotten right is the NFC South is trash. I mean, it's bad. And so they knew this division was very winnable. There was no Eagles, Niners, Lions. There wasn't some alpha team that they knew, hey, we are hamstrung financially. So I do think they read the landscape of the division and said, hey, this is ours for the taking. And I think Atlanta looks at it like that right now, that I think Tampa has hit their ceiling. I don't think they're getting any better. I like Baker Mayfield. I like Todd Bowles, excuse me. I just don't know if they remind me of Seattle a couple of years ago with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. It was a great story after Russell Wilson, Geno Smith's the comeback player of the year, and they followed it up with an average season. I think the Bucks are solid, but not great. I think Carolina, with Canales as a coach, is going to be better, and I'm still buying in on Bryce Young, but they're not going to be great. I certainly think the Falcons have looked at this division now and said, let's go get Kirk Cousins. It's ours for the taking. We have a lot of pieces in place with skill guys, O-line guys. They've reinvested in their defense. So, yes, I think what Atlanta is doing now is what the Saints have done post Drew Brees and Sean Payton is we have a division where nobody has become that alpha. They haven't drafted that generational quarterback. They haven't become that star team. And so I think the Saints feel like they can win the division in Atlanta. And Atlanta's going to be everybody's pick. Look, Raheem Morris has waited for his chance. You know, Zach Robinson is from that Sean McVay tree of, uber kid offensive coordinator, former college, quarterback at Oklahoma State. And Cousins, even though he's only won one playoff game, he's a lot like Derek Carr. He keeps getting paid boatloads of money, and to me, he's kind of middle of the pack. But one of these two teams, I think, is going to win this division, Saints or Falcons, and I just don't know which one, because while Atlanta is the shiny new toy, I still think the Saints are capable of doing it. I think both of these teams, they're high. Their ceiling is 10 or 11, and their floor is probably 7. And so yeah, it's going to be one of those two teams. And it's probably going to be 9 and 8 down to the final week. And we're going to be less than enthusiastic about whichever team wins this and then gets one of the elite teams in the NFC.
So one of the players that probably has some of the least tread or the least left tread on the tires, who's had a long career, who's played really well, looked at himself in the mirror last year, and I think he won't really go out there and blame it on that, but there was a lot of not health that was there last year that kind of dealt to the production or lack of production that was there last year. But he made a decision this offseason to lose a ton of weight this offseason and come back in lighter so that he can play inside a little bit more and get back to kind of some of his old ways. Has Cam Jordan looked lighter on his feet in camp so far this year? And what do you expect out of his play this year? And do you think that he can get back to somewhat of the levels that he's been at throughout his Saints career?
Yeah, again, that's another great question. I love Cam Jordan. I mean, he used to do a segment here at our TV station. He's one of my favorite Saints players of all time, the all-time sacks leader. Yeah. But look, last year, he was dealing with a foot injury. Yeah. But it was his least productive season since his rookie year of 2011 when he was a part-time player coming into an elite team, and he played end-and tackle because he is a big dude. I mean, he came from Cal where they ran a 3-4. He comes here where they ran a 4-3, so he played inside and outside. And since then, he's been that solid force on the outside. I mean, he's great against the run. He's been, if not an elite pass rusher, a consistent pass rusher year in, year out, but his numbers fell off, the table last year. I do think it was some due to injury. I do think it was some because the Saints were the 5th worst team in the NFL last year in sacking the quarterback. I still think Cam is going to start at defensive end. But I do think, obviously, with Chase Young, who's looked really good in camp, Carl Granderson, who's a rush specialist, I certainly think, and Cam has talked about it, he said he had to humble himself and understand that in year 14, he may not be the guy they just say, line him up every snap. He's going to play 85% of the defensive snaps at defensive end. He has accepted a move inside to, on passing downs, if they want to put Granderson and Chase Young, he's going to kick inside and try to get pressure from a tackle position. And when you mentioned San Francisco, when you talked about Kubiak earlier, San Francisco's been one of these teams that has been really good defensively because they put their 4 dudes up there, and they've got some elite guys there where they can get pressure with their front 4 and don't have to get too exotic. I think it's going to be maybe good for Cam to kick inside, and if it is Chase Young and Granderson and Cam and Brian Bresee on passing downs 3rd and long, I think that's really good for the Saints.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's accepted it. But to answer your question, Jared, is he going to find, Cam Jordan Pro Bowl defensive end form? I don't know, but I don't know if they need that guy. I think the fact that he's accepted, a veteran's role, so to say, yes, you're going to start, yes, you're going to play end, but we're going to kick you inside on some passing downs. I think it benefits this defense. To be honest with you, I'm not worried about the defense. I actually believe that Dennis Allen is an excellent defensive coordinator, and I think even though they're a little long in the tooth with Cam and DeMario and Tyron, I think they have enough good defensive coaches and enough talent on this team defensively to be really solid, if not really, really good. All my questions come offensively with the O-line, with Derek Carr, with Clint Kubiak, with depth at running back, with depth at tight end, with depth at receiver. I mean, it could be really, really bad. And I don't think people understand that right now. They could hold it together and be solid, but I don't think they're going to be great offensively, but they could be bad offensively, like really bad. And that's what scares me about this team most.
I'm glad you brought up the offensive line because I think out of all the questions, I think that's the biggest one, right? If the offensive line was solid and really good, similar to like how LSU's offensive line is, if they were really good and that was the strength of the offense, you could feel like, okay, they're going to be able to protect Carr and he's going to be able to get the ball out to the receivers and they're going to have some time. They're going to do some things. The offensive line has a bunch of questions. You have a rookie left guard. You have a left tackle. You have a right tackle who you drafted that was supposed to be a starting left tackle, wasn't good enough. Then you put him at right tackle, and he's pass setting into the quarterback in practice. Dennis Allen says the right tackle position is still up for grabs. It doesn't feel like Trevor Penning has really separated himself. What has the conversation been? What does it look like on the offensive line, in particularly in that position battle?
Yeah, and I'll say this. I mean, I saw a blogger say this, and I'm going to steal his line. I mean, we could have like Chernobyl level disaster of an offensive line. I mean, it could be that bad. Like Taliesin Fuaga looks like the real deal, but he's been dealing with an injury, and that's not good. And he's kicking to the left side for the first time. I mean, Penning is trending massive bust right now. Nick Saldivari, who they traded up for and have been talking about all offseason, is injured and hasn't done much. I mean, they're going to be starting like Udoa potentially is a guy from the Vikings that they signed. I look at this line and I just keep thinking, man, oh man, like they have the potential to be a mess. And while they were okay on certain downs against San Francisco, on passing downs, the line was still giving up a ton of pressure when they couldn't go into heavy play action, on 1st and 2nd and keep a team off balance. When they were in 3rd and 7, in 4th and 6, like they picked up a 4th and 6 to keep that 95 yard, 16 play drive alive. But the pressure got to Carr pretty quickly. And so it's concerning. I know Eric McCoy's a good center. Cesar Ruiz is a starter in the league at one of the guard positions. And I think Taliesin Fuaga is going to be a dude. But, I mean, you're talking about two positions right now that are still up for grabs. And the cohesiveness of this line is much as Carr struggled last year, and he hangs on to the ball too long, and he doesn't make a lot of quick decisions. He needs really solid offensive line play. He didn't get it a lot last year, and I'm not sure he's going to get it to start this year. Look, Alvin Kamara is another guy coming off the least productive year of his career, and I think it was also because of the line issues. And they've invested in it, but I don't know if it's going to be better. It's one of those scary moments right now that what are they going to be up front? And I've covered this team now for 22 years. Some of these concerns, I can go back and I can say, well, look, in 06, Sean Payton had massive concerns. They were a disaster in the preseason with Drew Brees. John Stinchcomb, everybody thought was a bust, and then he ended up going on to play 10 more years as a starter and an anchor on the Super Bowl team. And yet we had major questions about that offensive line, but it held together, and they went to the NFC Championship game. I could, again, like I told you earlier, convince myself that the pieces fall into place, that Penning becomes a solid guy. But I could also...
No, don't say the other part. Don't say the other part. Just be positive on this one. Fletch, be positive.
Then I'll be positive. It's going to come together, and they're going to be okay. I mean,
there we go.
I'm lying to you saying that, but if that's what you want to hear, I'm happy to say it.
No, I'm just messing with you.
This could all come together if you put Taysom Hill at right tackle.
Listen, Taysom Hill's doing everything. Right. I'm excited to see how they utilize him. Obviously, that looks good. It seems like they're going to have to utilize him in the backfield because it doesn't seem like Kendre Miller wants to play football.
I mean, the way Dennis Allen talks about Kendre Miller, I mean, he's right, though. I mean, look, Kendre Miller came in with injury concerns, and he missed 10 games last year. Look, you see it. When he plays last year in the preseason, he flashed. Last year at the end of the season when he played, he flashed. But he just doesn't play.
Yeah.
And he's missed all of training camp so far. I'm not even sure he's going to make the team. Dennis Allen has been kind of dumping on him so much right now. So, again, it just hasn't been good.
Yeah.
And so I do think we're going to see more Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill, wherever they put him, is super solid. I mean, he played tailback the other night as their starting tailback because Alvin didn't play and Kendre Miller was out. So, I used to laugh at that. I remember there was a game a few years ago when Taysom Hill had to play running back in Baltimore. I think it was the 20 or the 20 season. It was like Sean Payton's or Drew Brees' last year, and he did it. But I think we can move Taysom Hill off of tight end and now put him at running back, fullback, a lot of that Kyle Juszczyk role that San Francisco utilized. It's one of the concerns I have. Depth at running back, depth at receiver, depth at tight end, depth on the O-line. Again, look, last year, and I know y'all are in Baton Rouge, and we draw parallels here. Last year, LSU had a championship offense and an embarrassing defense. I think the Saints have a really top 10 defense, and if their offense can just be middle of the pack, they'll win this division. But the offense has a chance to be borderline embarrassing. And to me, I think that's what's going to make or break this season is the Saints offense.
Well, hopefully everything does fall into place. There's things that guys step up, guys do different things. Happens all the time, like you said. But I'm with you. I'm concerned about the offense. I appreciate you always coming on our show. You are one of the OGs on here. You always are welcome. You always welcome us with open arms. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you all night. But like always, I appreciate you, man. We're going to have you on throughout the course of the year, hopefully when the Saints are winning games.
Oh, they won't come on very often.
And you know what? I'm going to get like my old COVID headset out so I have a better microphone. And I promise I'll get the tripod out.
No.
I feel like, sometimes doing Zooms, I'm back in the COVID days and I got to go dust off, like the tripod and the microphone kit and break it out. And so nothing, it's funny. I see all these people bringing up all these crazy things that happened during COVID, like the people that were caught on camera doing crazy stuff. Because I think like the summer of 4 years ago, right now, that's when you saw all the crazy stuff happening. And people are posting like flashbacks and stuff. So I will have a good flashback and just go get my more solid equipment now that we may be doing this a little bit more often to make sure the quality of y'all's show doesn't suffer when I come on.
No, you make the quality of the show better.
I mean, look at that lighting over there. Come on now.
No doubt. You make it better. We're trying to look. By the next time you come on, this thing may look a little different. We're doing some things to the wall. It's going to look like a whole new studio. So the next time you're in Baton Rouge, if you're ever in Baton Rouge, you can come in the studio and we'll do it live.
Yeah.
Wait, on the cool purple sofa with Jared?
No more purple sofa, but we can sit you next to it.
No more purple sofa.
Okay.
We're working on some new things. It's a new studio, but it's getting there. It's getting there. We're working on it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it, Mikey. I mean, look, Archie Manning is forever 8 here. You are forever 8 in Baton Rouge, so I love seeing the 8.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you all for having me.
Nah, appreciate you, man. Enjoy your night. We'll have you on again soon.
All right, cool.
All right, brother.
I love Fletch and how much he just
he
doesn't
says
sugarcoat.
it. No, I
He doesn't
love
sugarcoat the
that.
Saints at all. He's like, maybe no.
I love that because sometimes you guys tell it how it is, and he does tell it how it is. It is Ask Mikey and Mitch. Do we have any questions?
Let me check the Twitter.
If we don't have any questions, then we can go on
This
to
is Twitter.
continuing the show as normal. If we do have questions, we would love to answer the questions.
Oh, we got a couple on Twitter, and we have some in the chat, so
There
we
we
can
go.
fire
There
away
we
on
go.
All Ask Mikey
Fire
and Mitch.
away.
This is technically just a Fawn segment, which I love because he is quick and swift to get in the questions. First one up from the Fawns. Which pitcher from history or present day would you like to get 1 AB on knowing you're getting a hit?
Nolan Ryan.
Knowing that I'm getting a hit, Dwight Gooden.
Oh.
Or Pedro. Dwight Gooden or like prime Pedro.
I want to get a homer off of Nolan Ryan, and then he's probably gonna hit me in my next at bat.
Yeah. Don't Robin Ventura that
And I
thing.
won't charge him out.
Man, I can start naming off a lot of dudes.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like those two though.
I mean, Nolan Ryan could potentially, y'all could do that now, and it would be.
I think he threw
like 88
the other day.
Yeah.
Not the other day, a while back, whenever he threw like the first pitch. That's impressive. Next. Any?
Yeah. We're going down the list.
Okay.
Do you have anything from your sports history that you replay in your mind saying, damn, if I would have zigged instead of zagged, this would have been different? What is it? And Mikey, you can't use the home run. You knocked over the fence.
You want to go first?
If I would have zigged instead of zagged, things would be different. In my sports career,
I mean, that's a perfect question for you.
I mean, I didn't really have control over this one, but yeah, it'd been nice to not have the ankle injury.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have let it. I played it off the wall. Play it off the wall, throw it in, double. No big
Live
deal.
for another day.
Yeah. I guess you know that one.
If I zigged instead of zagged,
Going
I
to-
think in 2018, had I just got off to a little bit better of a start, my career, I may still be playing. To be honest,
But you're a notorious slow starter.
right, just a little
I
bit
could say
better.
the same for my, was it 14 year or 13 year, I believe.
Yeah, just a little bit better.
We had literally the regime had changed, the GM and everything had kind of changed there, and you know how it goes. GM changes there.
That's what happened to me.
Same thing. It's hey, show me what you got here. I got off to a slow start, and it was what it was from there.
Yeah, GM didn't change. The staff changed. GM was kind of felt like he was going to have to make some moves. But I would have, had I just got off to a slightly better start, I would have been on. I wouldn't have gotten sent down. I would have played, and I would have gone through arbitration. I would have set my career for a whole different path.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Would have done more steroids. Ask Eminem. Would you rather have a hard, compact warning track or a soft warning track, really soft?
Not soft.
Give me the hard one. I gotta have something hard. You go soft, you might twist and turn an ankle
No
right
doubt.
there. You
Hate
go
soft
from
warning
yeah.
tracks.
Give me the.
And
give
then
me
if
the
you
hard
have to jump to try to bring a ball back,
you don't get up. You
yeah,
can't get stuck in mud. Yeah, give me the hard one. I would even tell you give me the
Track,
turf,
like
the
turf?
track.
Yeah.
Before giving me like something like too beachy and soft and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if they put a trampoline as the warning track?
like that too?
that would be
sick.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely not playing balls close to the wall then if they hit the ground.
Double bounce me.
You're staying on the wall.
Yeah.
And then you're just jumping up and trying to catch everything.
This is I'm interested to hear Mikey's answer. Ask Eminem. You can only watch one for the rest of your life: college football or the NFL.
Wow.
Because you're a big NFL guy.
Yeah, college football though. College football. I love the NFL though.
I'm taking NFL. I can't lie to you. I just love the professionalism and
Yeah,
the craft
I think-
of it. The pageantry and the fandom and how things go in college football is obviously different. But I love watching 2 feet in.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
watching. I just love watching the professional. I love watching tight window throws and stuff.
LSU's the only
that
reason
stuff's
I say
different to
college
me,
football.
yeah.
LSU's the only reason, but like football as a whole, NFL.
You love
Yeah.
to feel the college feel, but if I'm gonna watch a game, it's hard to not say NFL football because it's just a better product in the sense of it's just more competition. That to me is cool.
Yep.
Lloyd doesn't agree with us right here, by
Oh no, I feel like the NFL is more palatable to watch on a Sunday. It's easy to go from game to game, and you don't really have a vested interest. It's all just good football for the most part. But if you take away LSU, then I'm not long for this earth.
Right.
Really care about like one thing. Ask Eminem. When in the outfield and sunny, sunglasses or glove to block the sun?
Sunglasses so I don't have to squint. I never had to block the sun. You just kind of play on the side of it. If you learn how to do that, you'll never play balls in the sun if you always keep the ball by the way you play it outside.
So if the sun's here and the ball's right in front of it, you want to get it. But if you can move your body and now the sun's still here and the ball you're looking at,
or if you can get 2 spots before the ball's getting into the sun, so you never have to play the sun. It is something you learn through your career, but you start learning how to not ever have sun balls by just taking better angles and how you move around the outfield. So I would say sunglasses simply so I didn't have to squint looking up, but it wasn't because I was trying.
No, sometimes you can't help it.
Sometimes it does go.
Sometimes it goes right. The sun's lower and line drive. You can't.
It'll go through it instead of necessarily just staying in the sun as it's on its way down.
I hated wearing sunglasses, but you had to do it.
Yeah.
Would you have the radars, Oakley?
I don't know what I had.
The M frames, they need to come back.
Those are
M frames was the old school.
I used to have the M frames. I think I had the radars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
M frames were legit. Those are just baseball.com.
Yep.
That's literally the sunglasses that says, "Tell me you play baseball," without
no doubt
telling me you play baseball.
Especially if you're still wearing them. That's a good question. Brendan Huff, ask Eminem. If there was NIL when y'all played, where would you have gotten a deal based off where you spent the most money in town? Or just what NIL deal do you think you would have gotten?
Where I spent the most money.
DJ Mayhew would have got an NIL deal from Mr. Gaddy's.
Oh.
Yeah.
DJ loved Mr. Gaddy's.
Man, I think at that time I had almost every polo shirt you could imagine, and it probably came from collared shirt that you could imagine, and it probably came from Dillard's. So Dillard's would probably be, but I also had a ton of New Era fitted hats too,
I had a bunch of hats
from obviously Lids, so maybe one of those two places.
I had a bunch of hats. I had like the curved ones and the flat bills. You know, that was the fitted backwards hat. Yeah. That was a big thing.
Little bangs poking out.
No.
Didn't have the bangs. I didn't have bangs poking out. No.
Well, I didn't think you did.
Yeah, that was not for you.
If I had to,
Mikey, we saw your hair at the first pitch. You definitely put the hat on and then swooped the bangs.
The bangs never went out of the hat. Never let that happen.
And then you would take the hat off. You're like, I did my hair.
No. Bangs never went underneath. Bangs always went up underneath the hat. Never had them showing underneath, like through the hat.
Those would be my two places.
I'm trying to think if there's another place. I was a very frequent visitor of Inga's.
The Gold Club?
Of Inga's would have been great. I don't think they would have been able to afford the NIL deal, but yeah.
Gold Club.
Huh?
No.
That's what Lloyd was.
That's what you'd have been.
Hey. And you got to support your local economy.
We had to, back then, when we flew on travel, we had to wear suits. So maybe Joseph A. Banks or something.
The Raw Shop.
Nope.
Serious question from Canes. Cats Heat 305, which is Miami area code. Ask Eminem. Has anyone talked to your head coach or your AD, about the new scholarship additions and how they're going to handle the situation with Title IX and the roster size?
Wow, what a question.
Yeah, I don't
That's
fucking
an
know.
unbelievable question. I'm not qualified to be answering that question.
I don't know if
you.
anybody. I'm sure somebody has. I'm sure they have a plan for that. I don't know what that plan is, but they do have a plan, I would imagine. If they don't have a plan,
they need to get a plan.
And they're probably in trouble.
Title IX is something that's going to pop up again.
What happened, they did a bunch of stuff, and now all this new stuff that they're coming in is going to
make it energize the Title IX crowd, where Title IX was just a meat shield for the NCAA as to why amateurism had to exist, because it didn't make economical sense to pay a Title IX sport the same that you paid college football players, and they just went away with it because it's a business.
Right.
And it's like, so now you can't really, whatever you get, we get. I don't know. It was the crux of everything that was wrong with college football for a long time and college athletics, in my mind. Ask Eminem. Oh. This is testing. You might be able to answer this later in the year once you get your country Mikey. Ask Eminem. Rank, venison, wild duck, wild turkey, wild hog.
Oh, I could. That's venison's 1, and it's not even close.
But you can't fry it.
I don't like fried.
Okay, good.
Venison, number 1, not even close. I'm not a huge duck guy.
You don't want that wild duck?
I like hog. Pork. I'm not mad about that. Don't love duck. Not a huge turkey guy either, to be honest with you. So venison, 1 by far. Deer sausage, fire.
Deer sausage, fire.
Yeah.
Ask
Deer
Eminem.
burgers, fire.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever had wild turkey.
That don't even sound good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've had turkey plenty, but that is wild.
Wild turkey.
That thing was tucked up, frozen. Ask Eminem.
Duck's too gamey. Go
It
ahead.
depends on who makes it. Favorite cuss word.
Shit.
I think I like that. You can use that for a whole bunch of.
Yeah.
Whole bunch
You
of
can
things.
use that joking. You can use that serious. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
You can say that shit that's bad or shit.
Shit.
That's good. You know?
There you go.
What about you, Lloyd?
Oh, a properly timed fuck will win every battle that you're ever in. You can say it both, and it goes both ways. But when you're really mad, there's no better word to say. Like if you give it the good. And it usually works. Kind of gets all whatever. It's a good reset. Ask Eminem.
We just have them rolling in, or they just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get a show from Alex Box showing the new stadium or the new upgrades to the stadium?
I mean, at some point, not now.
Oh, first pitch break. Did you get the email?
What?
It's in January 2025. If we want to run that thing back.
It's always in January.
Yeah, no, but they just sent out the press
Oh.
because we're media
Yeah.
and we're credentialed apparently.
I got us credentialed. For football. You just don't have a spot in the box.
I don't want to. I would not last. You wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it for the intro.
You can't cheer. For those
Yeah.
two.
That has to be almost hell.
M-I-S-S-I-T.
I ain't doing that. But yeah. We'd imagine that we'd probably have some there at
I mean,
Fox.
imagine being in Tiger Stadium for if you're working whatever, LSU Florida 2007. Like you're just sitting there watching it.
Yeah, it's miserable.
Auburn.
Imagine being
You just went.
Imagine being in the press box on the road at Alabama when you got the 2-point conversion. No, it was at home.
That was at home.
It was at home. Imagine being at Alabama at home with 2-point
They
conversion.
have to give it a little.
Oh, dude. I'd be kicked out of there so fast.
Oh, so fast.
Yeah.
Bah,
Guys can't hold it together.
Walk it in. Yeah. Suck
Right
that Tiger dick.
into the Alabama beat writer's face,
Yeah.
too.
Loser.
How you like that?
Loser.
I just look at him like this. Shit.
Y'all best change that gamer. Oh, ask Mikey and Mitch. One gets trashed forever. Snickers, Klondike, Almond Joy, Mars, Crunch Bar, Mr. Good Bar. Not all elite.
That's too many. Okay.
First off, if you're trashing a Snickers bar out of that,
Yeah, that's-
you need to go ahead and hop
That's
in.
not trash.
Whatever trash you threw it in, go ahead hop it right
Almond
behind
Joy, I
it.
think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe even Mr. Good Bar, like them two.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever walked into any gas station anywhere and said,
Give me the Good Bar.
"Give me the Mr. Good Bar," or "Give me the Almond Joy." I like
think
almonds.
I think
I'm
I
just
could,
not choosing it.
I think I would eat a Mr. Good Bar over an Almond Joy.
I had me a Snickers the other day for the first time. I don't know why.
Goal.
You know, what I like
Smacking, too.
I like a nice Twix.
I like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Twix.
I like a Twix.
Yeah. That list we just had.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Like, that
definitely not. I know which one was definitely not going in.
Yeah. I've never even had an Almond Joy, but
I like a
not
nice classic Hershey bar too.
I feel like every time an Almond Joy
Frozen.
has been available for me,
It's like at a funeral.
it's always there's always been a Snickers or M&Ms or something else where I'm never choosing an Almond Joy.
Doesn't it feel like an Almond Joy is like your grandma's favorite
Yeah, it's like
candy
a sad
bar?
candy.
My great grandmother used to take me to the gas station and she used to get Almond Joys. Like I just don't.
Almond Joy and a Werther's original. Like you might as well just start.
People love Werther's though.
Yeah, start digging.
Yeah.
Start digging the grave now.
Yeah.
Your palate's changed. You got Old Palette.
Yeah. No almond joy here.
No.
No. Mr. Good Bar, not bad, but it's just like a knockoff Crunch Bar. Just didn't quite have the gusto of the Crunch.
Yeah.
And the wrapping makes it look like you're poor. Like it always looks like it's a little off color. Like it's been there a while.
Okay.
Ask M&M. We already did this one.
Okay.
Who
Next.
do you think wears 18?
We already talked about it.
Yeah.
You got any more?
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Well, let's see if y'all even have this. I would be surprised. What's your favorite collectible memorabilia that you have? Ask M&M.
What's my favorite what?
Collectible memorabilia. I'm not a big memorabilia guy.
Me either. I told you that's my biggest regret in baseball.
If you could go back and trade with one.
I wouldn't trade. I'd buy their jerseys, and then I would frame them. I mean,
What do you mean?
so when you would play, what you would do is guys would buy jerseys. Like if I was going to play in Boston or playing the Red Sox, Big Poppy's on the other side, you'd go buy a David Ortiz jersey, or you tell the clubhouse guy to go buy one for you. He'd go and he'd bring it over to the home locker room, and you would ask, hey, can you get this signed by him? He would sign it, send it back, right? And so a lot of people would do that. I just always felt I never wanted to overstep.
Yeah.
And I regret it because I played against him. I played against A-Rod. I played, I played with Miggy, Verlander, all these guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame that I could have on my wall. I never did it. And that was my biggest regret.
Zigged when you should have zagged.
That's a zig when I should have zagged.
That's like
Mike Trout, like Albert Pujols, all these guys that in my head, the way I envisioned it was I would have all of these, and I'd get them all framed, and then my entire garage was basically those framed jerseys. I messed that one up.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. And that's like pre-jersey swap too. Like that wasn't really a thing.
Well, they don't swap. You just buy them and you get them signed.
That's what I'm saying. Now it's kind of maneuvered to
now,
the swap.
Yeah, now baseball is swaps.
But
Football's always done that.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's not
Not always. It became a thing.
Yeah.
That's not always been a
Came
thing.
from soccer.
Yeah. I actually heard something where Arian Foster was talking. You remember him? Tennessee running back, Houston Texans.
I remember.
He was talking about the other day where it was like costing him like over $1,000 per jersey every time he was doing it because they had to buy a new jersey. So it was like, obviously, he wasn't getting a jersey swapped every game, but like at the end of the year. But I feel like that whole thing, that whole conversation, it's
so
like.
that's those guys, they make them pay for their jerseys.
Yeah, you have to pay for the jersey.
Same with us. Yeah, same with baseball. They would make us pay for
it. But the thing is like I feel like anybody who collects these kind of things, and you're doing this as a collector type of thing, anybody who collects any kind of collection, what you're usually paying for it in terms for what it's worth, which you usually never end up selling and actually collecting money for it anyway, is always a high number. Both of them are usually always high numbers. Right. If I'm paying for over $1,000 a jersey, well, if I got all these big time dudes that they're worth more than that, but I'm never getting rid of them at the same time. But that's what's going on. Like I feel like that's any kind of collection. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I
didn't drop the ball. It was the.
Nice. Yeah.
My buzzer.
Jeopardy contestant over there.
Yeah. So I don't really have one. I don't really have much memorabilia. No. That would have been, if I had it, that's my regret of not having memorabilia.
I guess your jerseys are cool and your
Oh yeah,
office.
I mean, but that's mine. That's not like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count that as memorabilia. All right, we appreciate all of the questions for Ask Mikey and Mitch. We have a new sponsor, boys. We're gaining sponsors. Believe it or not. Ask Mikey and Mitch is brought to you by our friends at Mead Heavy Civil. Mead Heavy Civil specializes in land development and infrastructure projects across public works, residential, industrial, and commercial industries. From coastal restoration and large-scale excavations to solar farms and oil and gas pipelines, Mead is the powerhouse moving Louisiana forward with complete start-to-finish construction expertise. If you're interested in any of these types of things, visit meadheavycivil.com or give Kiefer Sanders a call at 985-518-6774. Mead Heavy Civil, welcome to the team.
Welcome to the team. I have the need
for mead. Look at that.
Yes,
you just gave them their slogan.
There it is.
There it is. You just gave them their slogan. Welcome.
That one's free.
Team, boys. That one's free. All right. We appreciate that. Let's get to the seggies. Thinking on the sponsors.
Oh.
Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place.
And that's
You.
it. Me. Mistake of the day goes to one, Robert De Niro, celebrating his birthday. Yes. And I think he might have
Died?
looked like a Titanic survivor for a second. I don't think they.
Do you have a video?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
And this is him jumping.
I specifically kept these headphones on so I could watch this.
And it is him jumping, and they said it was 30 feet in the air, and it looks all of it because
82, right? Or 81?
Yeah, he massively underestimated this leap. And it is here now.
Oh, head first dive. Oh my God.
Yeah, it'd be 80 years old.
I thought he was just gonna jump off with feet first.
No, he's 30 feet in the air off a pier. I'm okay.
His daughter was worried.
Well, yeah, that didn't feel good.
81, 82 years old, still doing it though. I respect
And then,
it.
look, he gets
you
the-
could be like Al Pacino though and having kids at 85.
Look, the disrespect of the jet ski, too, catches him on the way back.
Girl.
Oh. Wow.
Boy, that would hurt going in.
Oh.
I think he went for the dive and didn't realize how high up he was.
Damn.
And then it turned into my fucking
didn't really
back.
have the core strength that he used to have to keep himself balanced.
No, that's not the raging bull I know.
Yeah. Tough. At least he survived.
He did, we think. I bet
That's
the
good.
bruise was brutal the next day.
He was sore, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt sore. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners. Me. What we got?
And curtain call comes from one Tired Matthew never forgets where he comes from. This is the wrong document. As he pulled out some old LSU cleats and then gave them away to a fan. But I thought that this was cool just to see him still repping LSU, and then he hit him on Twitter, hit him with the Go Tigers. But for somebody that was so wronged by the school, he still has a lot of love for LSU. And so let's see if we can get the video up.
I was really hoping a wasp would come back out.
I know. It turned from you don't want to see him to now I do.
No, I got you. I'm ready.
It's the beauty of being armed.
I'm sorry I shot you with it.
That's okay.
I thought it was going to go over your head, but...
Right in the eye.
Was it really? A lot of years.
Oh, that's actually.
You got one?
I'm tag teaming on that one. I love that one.
Oh, Jared, this is 2 in a row.
I love that one.
I got two in there.
I didn't see the other one.
So I got Brian Kelly. I got Tiger Stadium in there. You maybe have to refresh.
No, I got it.
I got it.
So you can take Tiger Stadium. Old people are not going to love this.
Nope.
I love it.
No. There will be light shows this year, so we're going to give it a little kind of curtain call to Tiger Stadium for upgrading, a little facelift.
Yeah,
being one with the youth and one with the young people. And it's going to be very adventurous at night. Probably with some touchdown jiggle in there.
Look, they're getting the kinks out of it. Like, it's going to be hopefully a little bit better than that. More synced up.
No, I think that's what they're going for.
What?
Like it's kind of like a party.
No, I know, but like it's got to be.
They have different settings.
Yeah,
they're gonna have the
that's what I
strobe.
mean.
They're gonna have
synced
the power,
up to the music
yeah.
and like all this stuff. Yeah, no doubt. All right, my curtain call is.
So you're telling me there'll be more piped in music?
I hope so. I hope they redid the whole speaker system.
They did the board.
Yeah, the speaker system at Alex Box Stadium needs to get redone too because it's really loud underneath the stands and it's not loud out there where it needs to be.
Right.
You know, so my curtain call is to old BK. He's at it again. If you watch Lane Kiffin make a really funny joke about Coca-Cola, about how much sugar it is, and I guess that was his subtle like humble brag on how in shape he is and how he eats healthy.
Yeah, he's sober. People change
and
when they get sober.
And Brian Kelly comes in and makes another one.
For the entire days in this one bottle.
I think he just wanted to make a cocaine.
65
reference.
grams of sugar. A long time.
just a
Lane
shout
does
out
look
to
good,
our
though.
sponsor, Coke. Smart water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins. It's just great for you. It's refreshing, healthy, and Coke provides you all the products that you need depending on what you like. And I love Smart water. You caught on.
Does anybody drink Coke?
See, I love
You
that.
guys have-
Mike Kelly seems like he actually landed a joke.
Yeah, I think either people are getting more accustomed to his sense of humor, or that was just actually kind of a banger.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he is sarcastic and
No
he's
doubt,
very
and I love
dry.
that. I love
But he gives you the dry humor. That's why.
Yeah, I love sarcastic humor.
Me too.
That's my favorite type of humor.
I wonder if me and BK would get along.
Also, before we I don't think so. You know
Why?
Who you would get along with?
Jay Johnson.
Theo Vaughn.
Yes.
And that should have been a curtain call for somebody. What an interview he had with former President Donald Trump, talking about cocaine. Talking about Donald Trump.
Put on the straight face, like
talking about how he doesn't understand it, which he does know because he's been coming at Hunter Biden about it. So he knows
Hunter Biden isn't on cocaine. He's given cocaine a bad name. He's on crack, fella.
I know, but there's cocaine that was found in the White House and all this stuff, and so he understands what it is. But the fact that he played dumb, didn't know, and Theo Vaughn having an interview with him and talking about it and saying that it turns him into an owl.
Oh.
And it was awesome. It was a very entertaining interview.
Turned you into a damn
was great.
street lamp. Do you enjoy that? Is that what? Is it
No.
good? No.
Didn't
It's
enjoy
awful.
it. Didn't enjoy it.
That's when you just do more. Light up the room.
But anyway, that was funny. It was a
It's
good
great.
interview. Crazy that he would do that. And awesome for Theo Vaughn, obviously Louisiana boy. All right, that's all we got for you today. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us, what?
Calling Trump homie.
He did. He did.
Turning you into a damn owl, homie.
Unbelievable.
Not changing for
if you
shit.
don't- If you don't like watching us or anywhere you get your pods, please enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday, live in studio.
Laughing at him.
Live in studio from 1 to 2-ish. We will have some LSU conversations. Hopefully our boy Bryce Kuhn will be back on the show. And then Saturday.
I talked to him today.
He's coming back on.
Yeah, he wants to stream with PS5 NCAA contingent.
Nice. Oh, really?
Yeah, we want to do both.
He wants us to stream with him?
Yeah, he wants to play.
Here?
Yeah.
He's going to bring it in?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never played it.
That's fine.
Great.
You'll probably be great at it.
Awesome. You got to figure out
doubtful.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, he's going to throw 7 interceptions.
Oh.
Hey,
I know it's hard.
You get bent over backwards real quick.
Listen, I was that guy back in the day. Like, I had to establish the run. You know what I mean? Like, you need to establish that. You got to assert your dominance. Now it's a whole different time. The offenses have changed.
No, you can still do it.
You know?
You can. Sometimes you got to.
Sometimes you have to because you get frustrated about throwing interceptions to Grambling State, you know?
That just means you garbage at that point. If you
I've
don't-
never played it.
If you don't pick the ground,
Find out.
you're just not good.
All right, we'll be back live in studio on Friday.
That should
with our
basically be like the ADHD test. If you're a kid and you can't consistently run the football in NCAA or Madden, like, he's bored. It's time to put this thing in the air.
Yeah,
and I don't care what happens.
Or they find the glitch.
Yeah, that's autism.
That just
used to
means
be the
Lloyd don't know
glitch.
how to run either.
There used to be a glitch where you could put in a certain formation,
commit to it.
motion the
It's
guy
not
out
that
to the
good
wide
at it.
receiver spot, snap
that
it,
fun.
the ball
It's
ends
not
up on
that
the
good at
ground, snap it again, all of a sudden the ball ends up in the end zone for a touchdown.
Touchdown.
Yeah, I think they kind of work those out.
Yeah, you would think. You would imagine. But yeah, we'll be back live on Friday.
I'm good at running the football.
It'll be the last week without LSU.
I got Caden
LSU
Durham and
football,
Caleb Jackson.
preparing for LSU football. It'll be the last week of that. But on Saturday there is a scrimmage for all
Be
former
there.
players.
There is.
You going?
Yeah, I'll make an appearance.
He will be there.
No media with cameras, just media with your eyeballs.
Perfect.
I'm bringing
I
one
like
of
my
my
shows.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
what's,
gonna go get
Look at
the
the
I'm gonna go get
Snapchat.
the
I was
glasses.
thinking the
hey,
same
what's
thing.
up, cuz?
I'm gonna go get the glasses.
Shit.
Looking forward to that potentially. We'll be back on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We love y'all. Also, how amazing was the weather this morning?
Great.
Oh, it
It's
felt like fall.
67 degrees, like
Beautiful.
Football.
and then it
here.
got into
Of
95
course.
real quick. But like for that like hour or so, it was amazing.
It was.
Hopefully, it does it again.
Very nice.
We had the greatest economy in history when I was president. Oh, yeah, my cousin got a boat during that. Theo.
Oh If you haven't seen the interview, please go watch it because it is pretty entertaining.
So
All right,
funny.
enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.
Hell yeah, homie. My cousin got a boat.